got a little phlegm. Sorry. Pardon my clearing of my throat. It is episode 173 of ADHD Friendly. Welcome. A little kind of back way into the podcast today. That little clearing of the throat completely changed. Just there goes my brain. Welcome. I am Patty. I am a professionally certified ADHD coach. I've been coaching since 2012. I cannot believe, like, when I think about that in terms of it is 2025. I have to write 2025
Right.
every day.
Yeah.
The older I get, the longer it takes my brain to hold on to the fact that it's a new year. The funny thing is sometimes I'll write, and I talked to a client about this a few days ago, and I was saying how my brain really doesn't hold on to it never has been good at it, but now it's like, oh my gosh, you probably laugh, but every time I write Becca's schedule out, if I'm doing it by hand, I tend to write the year, which I'm sure like, okay, Patty, I know the year. It's really just to get my brain used to the fact that it's 2025. I always picture, like, if I was like, God forbid, like in an accident or something, like, can you tell us the year? No, but that's not unusual. Don't assume anything based on that. But I was saying how that was confusing to me, and they were saying that they wrote the wrong month, and I was like, oh, you know what, I've done that too, because I'm focused so much on the year that I wrote 10.
Yeah.
Like October.
Right.
I'm like, I've already written February, which I know this is coming out in February, where we're back in our recording routine of 2 weeks ahead. So we're recording this the last week of January, but this will come out in February. So, but my brain's already there partly because I'm already planning in February. But I diverge. I'm coming back around. Welcome. You're here. It's episode 173. I'm going to share a celebration related to time.
Yay.
It's kind of, again, how my brain works sometimes. So I'm going to highlight, I'm seeing it as a win. And then I'm going to share what I purchased this week, and even the little like thoughts I've had about what I'm noticing is working with my being really honest and using the opportunity each week when I record this as a check-in for what I've spent to help manage my impulsivity a little bit more. And I'm just going to share what I'm learning through that process. And then I have a tip for this week: how to make your house smell amazing. My house did not smell amazing when you came in because I did not do any of these steps. But I could.
Okay.
That's good. Well, good, because the whole nose blindness thing is a thing. And then the main topic are invisible habits running your life, which they are. We all have invisible habits. So I'm just going to talk about how to become more aware of them so that if they're not supporting you, you have a chance to do something if you want to shift it. But let's start with the celebration. Becca, guess what?
What?
I gained an extra year of life.
What? Yeah. Tell me more.
So I forgot how old I was, which I remember my parents doing this and thinking, what is going on? Or they'd tell me that they couldn't remember if they saw a movie. I'm like, how could you remember if you saw a movie? And now I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Well, when the year changed, because my birthday is in the summertime, so it was still like in the year, but I was kind of like, I always add the next, like, what am I turning, remembering? Yeah. Well, because the year when we turned to 2025, I added another year to that without like really thinking about it. And so I was filling something out and I was like, is that right? And I had to literally think, because I'm born in an even year and it was an odd year, which means that my age is an even number, not an odd number. And I had an odd number. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not that. I'm a year younger than that. And it was so unbelievably sparkly. I just felt like I just got all this time back. It felt like leap day, but it was leap year, because I literally felt like I leaped back a year. So I'm taking it as this like energizing, like, wow, what do I get to do with this time? Because for a little while there, pretty much since the beginning of 2025, I somehow my mind shifted with the year that I was a year older. And I'm not. I think I'm actually like intentionally, I just don't pay attention to actual age because it doesn't help. I just feel like our society here in America is very, very focused on aging and not in a positive way. And so I'm not at all, so I am 56, so I'm not at all like embarrassed to say how old I am. I'm proud and happy to be 56, because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be alive. So I'm like, I'm very much in favor of aging. what I don't like is how much focus we put on it and whether or not somebody looks good for that age,
Oh,
or
yeah.
are they, oh, I would have guessed they're much older or much younger, whatever it is, and that we can take like personal pride or shame in that.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to get away from. So it really is just I'm trying very hard to keep it just as a marker of this is how many years I've been on earth, not how do I look for this age and how can I judge myself through this age? Well, it's a work in progress. But when I realized I wasn't 57, I was 56, it just felt like, well, what do I want to do with this extra like 6 months that I've now gained?
Right.
And how can I, or really a year, because I already thought I was like 57 and a half. And I'm like, no, I'm not. So I'm taking it as a celebration and I'm using the energy it's giving me to kind of almost like a bonus bit of time that I can get even more done because I have more time than I thought I did. So it's just kind of fun. All right. So what I purchased this week and what I've learned from this process of checking in and sharing what I purchased. So I did purchase a few things this week. This was not a shopping free week.
Okay.
I'm only going to share the wants that I purchased, not the needs. So I got a couple of things. One thing was a need. I got like some school supplies for my daughter.
Oh, yeah.
They were required. I bought a desk for her because her desk is like the desk that you would buy for an 8 to 10-year-old child.
Small.
It's
Yeah.
a kid's desk. I got rid of the hutch on top because it didn't allow her, and like she couldn't even open her laptop. I swear this thing was like designed before kids even had laptops.
Right, and needed them.
And so we got rid of the hutch to give her more like flat space, but she can't like, and my daughter's petite.
She's tiny.
So like she couldn't like really like, her chair doesn't fit under, and it's just this really not functional desk.
Piece of furniture.
And so I ordered her a new desk because it was really bothering me as the new semester was kicking off that she didn't have, and she's taking a full load of courses and some of them have a lab. And so she's just like got a lot of assignments. And I wanted her, when she's working at a desk to be able, when working at the desk at home to be able to do it. So
did it come?
No, not yet.
I'm excited.
But it was only $89. So I looked for something. Yeah. And I had to get it cleared with my husband because he likes to woodwork, and whenever I buy anything that has anything that he could make, he takes it a little personal. Like I could make that, but we're in Chicago. It's not possible to do woodworking right now if you don't have like an industrial heater in your space. And he does it in the garage. Our garage is not heated. Yeah. So he wouldn't be able to do that until probably May.
Spring. Yeah.
So I'm like, the classes be over that. And so I got the go ahead to get that.
Sweet thought.
Yes.
Sweet gesture.
I was also talking to the same daughter about how much we love the Hunger Games. We were trying to find a movie to watch together.
I just watched all 3 and the new one last week.
Really?
With
first time?
Well, no, I watched
she has this look on her face like it's the thing she just discovered.
Just that you're just talking about it because out of the blue, I was like, I haven't seen them since they came out. I'm gonna rewatch them all.
They're so good.
I can watch the prequel that came out.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
That's so funny that you just talked about that though. Well,
we watched the first Hunger Games because we didn't want to watch a new movie. We didn't want to kind of go back and forth. And it's a movie that we both enjoy rewatching. Yeah, so we just put it on, and we both were commenting on how well cast the movie is and how much we love Haymitch, which brought us to now wait a minute. Isn't she writing the prequel to be Haymitch's story? And so I looked it up because I remembered reading that she did.
Right.
Well, guys, it's coming out in March. So I pre-ordered it like right then. I was very egged on by my daughter, so I'm kind of holding her accountable for this because Amazon was going to run out of copies of it.
Right.
But
it felt like a necessity.
I also felt like I might lose the thread. I just wanted, so I did pre-order it, so it will arrive on the day that it comes out. So I'm super excited about. I know, yeah. So yeah, it's coming out just a few weeks. And then this sweatshirt, total impulse. So 2 of them, full disclosure, because they were on clearance. $11.81.
Stop it. You couldn't pass it.
Oh my gosh. Best feature ever. Fun. I would have bought this if there was, I love Snoopy, but if there was nothing on here but little Woodstock, I would have still gotten it. $11.81. And they had my size and her size. So I got 2 of them because in all honesty, no, I don't need a sweatshirt. Technically. Well, I don't have a lot of sweatshirts that aren't hoodies. I don't like hoodies. And so
I'm dealing with it right now.
Yeah, they're just bulky. Exactly. I don't need it. And it seems like all sweatshirts out there are hoodies.
Yeah.
when am I ever pulling a hood up? Like it serves no function to
Right.
me except to be bulky and in my way, especially if you go to put a coat on, which you do here.
Very
So
cool. Yeah.
I was so excited that it was on clearance. It was Snoopy and it didn't have a hood.
Yeah. It looks
You're
nice
with
and
me.
thick too.
Like I know this was,
You're
yes,
with me.
impulsive, but it felt kind of like a need. So I am loving it. So I had to wear it for this
Is it
recording of
warm?
this episode. It's warm. It's not like too warm. It has the little like
Ooh, yeah.
fleecy, it's very soft. I was going to wear a turtleneck with it. It's a little warmer today. I think like right now it's still in the 20s.
I think yeah, but it's gonna get up to
But it's gonna get up to like,
30,
yeah, like high 30s, maybe even 40.
40.
So I was like, I can't wear a turtleneck. It's gonna be like way too hot
Too
for a
warm for
turtleneck.
it.
So one day I will pair it with it. It's still deep in winter here, but it wasn't warm enough. It wasn't cold enough today. Okay, so now we come together. This is a long segment today in just what I purchased. I'll try to like be really tight with the rest of it, but I'm coming to what I purchased this week.
Mhm.
Totally impulsive, totally driven by my thought about how I love this one scent. I've been out of this scent forever. I have it in a diffuser.
Mhm.
Let me look and see if I can find it. Maybe Amazon sells it cheaper. Maybe there's a reseller for it. Maybe there's something.
Yeah.
And so I found out this one diffuser. So it's a fragrance by Jo Malone, which is one of those foo-foo, more expensive brands. The diffuser went the last time, and I've only purchased it twice since I've lived here.
Yeah.
Like I discovered it here. And I blame the previous owner because she left it in the upstairs bathroom. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, I could not figure out what the smell is for like the first month we lived here. I literally was like, what is this? It's like, how did she make the bathroom smell like this? I was completely blown away. And I realized it was this little diffuser, which lasts forever. I mean, like 6 months minimum.
Well, you said you've only bought it like twice.
It's $100.
So, but it does last.
But it does last. Well, so I looked up the diffuser again. I couldn't find it anywhere else. So I went to the Neiman Marcus site. And of course I have it, but it's now $119 and it's pretty low reviews. So I was like, they were saying it doesn't last as long as it used to. Like a lot of people are like, this is like my go-to scent. I have, it's not the same. I was like, well, I can't spend $120. And I also don't want to spend $120 if it's not the same formula for some reason. I don't know why people change except to save money. I don't know. So I realized it came in a hand and body lotion.
Ooh. That sounds sparkly.
So I bought it.
So I bought it.
And I mean, I bought it that it was like in the cart, purchase that minute.
Done.
It was $68.
Okay.
I'm sweating a little bit saying that. Listener, if that is like your normal go-to, I don't spend that kind of money on
hand lotion.
No.
Right.
But the reviews for the lotion were amazing. So
this was a treat yourself.
This was a definite treat yourself. Look at the presentation.
It's gorgeous.
Which is funny. Somebody in the reviews wrote, totally dissatisfied, bought this for a gift for someone. The presentation of the ribbon was horrendous. And they had the picture. This is how this picture. And then they showed a picture of the one that they got in the store, which was like a bow caddy corner, a little like black. It was pretty, but I was like, they literally like could never give this as a gift. And I was like,
because of the ribbon?
Okay, people.
Because of the bow.
Yeah, the way the bow was just slapped on. It was so funny because I didn't see that until after I got it. And I was like showing my daughter, look how pretty. And I'm so like, apparently I don't have the tastes that would be. So, all right, bringing it back around. What I realized was, now, first of all, let me just say, 0 regrets. I usually have a lot of regret. Can you smell my, can you smell it?
Did my way.
It is literally, I've had it for about a week now.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and think, ooh, when I finish my morning routine, I get to put the lotion on before I leave the bathroom. I stinking love it. I'm allergic to most scents because it's a lotion.
Yeah.
It's not extremely strong. Well, I mean, I've had the diffuser for years on and off when I could afford it.
Yeah.
And no, I know I'm not allergic to it, but I wasn't sure, sometimes with your own skin chemistry, and I also have sensitive skin, so I didn't know
if
it is delightful. Ooh. So the scent I have is Pomegranate Noir.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
It's a lovely name, right? It's like crazy well reviewed. People apparently, also I'm not alone. People love this. It's just, so I just do a little,
Yeah.
and I really like, and I try not to put it right here because I'm going to wash my hands and it'll be gone. That's what I learned already this week. But I absolutely love it. And it feels like such an indulgence. And I realized I'm going to put this on my lists for like my birthday, my anniversary,
That's great.
because I don't usually, it was very impulsive. I did not have time to get in my head. I didn't come back to it. If I thought about it, I don't think I would have done it.
Right.
I'm so grateful I did it. But at the same time, it was another $68 plus tax and shipping. So it was like 70, probably like 76. I don't know. So I am working on, in case you're a newer listener or you, don't, whatever, I have a membership community, ADHD friendly. Check out more information, ADHD-friendly.com. Everything I do in there, I create out of my own awareness of where I struggle and my clients struggle and what I feel like I can bring structure-wise to the table to support people to go from where they are to where they want to be with more ease, because it's all with that ADHD friendly lens. So it's not live yet. This purchase was the catalyst that motivated me to create the structure for some type of money accountability. I'm thinking about calling it dollars and dopamine or making money fun, something sparkly, because most people that have ADHD are impacted in ways that impact their ability to manage their money as easily as somebody that maybe doesn't have our brain wiring. So it doesn't mean we can't, but it means that we often have years and years of experiences not doing well with it, or despite our best intentions, impulsively buying things that will undermine what our longer term goals are. Our brains are now and not now. So saving today for something for next week, next month, next year, oh my gosh, retirement. It's like, it's a part of ourselves we can't even identify with it so far in the future that we need concrete ways, and we need to connect with other people and feel comfortable talking about it so we can figure out what will work for us. So I've just started setting up some structure. I'm hoping to make it live for the spring semester course, because that's all about creating an ADHD friendly roadmap to support yourself. And money is definitely one of the components there. So look for more information soon that's coming out of what I'm learning is and isn't working for me with my own spending around wants. Okay, that was long. I apologize. Now for a quick tip. If you want to make your entire home smell lovely, I already shared the very indulgent, not inexpensive diffusers that they have from Joe Malone. Joe Malone, if anybody's listening, like I will totally like I've never done a sponsored ad and I'm completely against it, but I am totally a user and believer and huge fan. But this came from a 2019 Real Simple magazine article. Yeah, I know. I like pull these sheets on my magazines and I put them and I came across, I was like, yeah, let's talk about this. So when our homes smell fresh, we typically feel good about that. It's like a positive sign. It can like give us a little energy boost. When they don't smell good or oh my gosh, if they smell bad, it creates this uneasy feeling. We're either trying to figure out where it's coming from or tolerating if you have like pets or if there's any like musty smell, something that my dad lived up in New Jersey and they used to always leave the windows open. And so like on mornings when it was kind of humid and misty outside, it was like all of the furniture would get a little damp and there was always this kind of damp smell. And I'm very sensitive to all of that kind of thing. I can't take it.
I can smell that smell. You're
just mentioning it, right?
Yeah, you're describing.
Yeah. So whatever it is, it's something that creates, it takes some energy for us to tolerate it or to figure out or to be able to do something about it. So a clean home should smell like nothing like what Becca said my house smells like, which I can't tell you. I do ask her, I'm like, do you smell anything? Because I know that there's also the real thing of challenge of nose blindness, where you just get used to what your space smells like. And because I work from home and I live in my home, I'm aware that I could totally not be aware. And I depend on others to like, hey, do you smell it? Because I'll smell it at first, but I might get used to it. And that's what I'm afraid of. So I want you to think about if you love a scent, like now I don't even like, I give myself a little hit. I do. I'm like, okay, oh my gosh, it's so good. So start with removing an odor if it's not working for you, right? So if it's moisture, maybe getting a dehumidifier to
Yeah.
keep a space from, a humid space from being too moist. Your rugs, your carpets, linens, those kind of things will trap moisture. So getting it out of the air could be something that can help. Maybe there's damp, like bathroom towels. That's like one of my pet peeves. I'm like, don't throw that in the laundry basket. You
It's still
have to
wet.
dry it
Yeah.
before. I understand if it's dirty, you don't want to use it again, but you've got to dry it out. You can't just throw it in there where it's not going to be
It's just
touched
gonna
for a
get
week.
still wet.
Yeah. It's going to get everything else wet, and then it's going to be musty. And one of my worst smell experiences is if I don't know that and I've thrown everything in the wash and I wash it and then I put it in the dryer and then I take it out and I fold it, and then you put I'm always like expecting and it's musty, like it has a lingering odor of bacteria, and it has to go back in, and I have to do
another
sanitizing wash. Don't make me rework. Oh my gosh. So hang them up. And the same thing with sponges and like towels, dish rags. They recommend getting rid of sponges every 1 to 2 weeks. I don't even use sponges anymore because I just realized I became so sensitive to the bacteria and it just gives me allergies.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work for me. So the general recommendation though is 1 to 2 weeks at the most. And apparently even like running them through the dishwasher was kind of when I gave up, because I used to do that. And it said you might believe it works, but it's actually not getting all the bacteria out. And I was like, okay, I can't. That gets in my head, and then it gets in my way. So keeping those damp areas in mind. And then just look for areas of nose blindness. So where you might adapt and no longer notice it. So if you have pets, kitty litter, if your pets had an accident in the house and you didn't catch them, and maybe it's, just lingering. Yeah. Maybe pet beds.
Oh, sure.
A lot of them have covers you can unzip and launder.
Throw them in there.
I'm not very good at that. Full disclosure, like I'll buy another one before I can never get them back on.
It's a pain in the butt.
But your trash cans, cleaning them out.
Oh yeah.
Right? So like if there's like things that are getting underneath the liner,
and
it just has an odor every time you open it, and you can smell like, what is this? Cleaning out the trash can itself. And then I love this tip, using a smaller one. So if you're not emptying it very frequently because it's larger than you really need, using a smaller one will create urgency to empty it more frequently.
So then it won't be smelling.
Yeah. So it's like if you're not filling it up for a week, and the thing, like you're thinking about, you threw some food in there and now it's been in there for a week,
couple days,
it's going to smell. All right. So the other thing is to deodorize your fridge. This tip, I know I've heard before, but I've never read it in a way that I wanted to take action. But I make French press coffee every day.
Ooh.
And so I push the grounds down, and then I'm always emptying them out, and it's a pain to get them out of the bottom of the French press. Well, coffee grounds apparently are a natural deodorizer. So even if you use baking soda, which is really common. Coffee grounds, if you're throwing they want you to use used coffee grounds, but you dry them out and then you put them in the fridge and it absorbs odors. So it's if you're literally using something that you would have thrown out anyway, which I love. But I've had my coffee grounds from Monday. It's Wednesday. Yeah. When I'm recording this, it's a Wednesday for you too, because it comes out on Wednesday. I digress. They're still not dry. And it's so dry right now because we're in the middle of winter here. So there's no humidity. I don't know why they take so long to dry. And maybe it's because it came from a French press and you're pushing all of the moisture. I don't know. So I'm still working on it, but I'm going to try that one. Yeah. The other suggestion was to add eucalyptus leaves, like a little grouping of twigs to your shower.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah. To put the plant. Yeah.
Yep. Whether you find an elastic or something to hang it to where the nozzle, the shower head is. They recommended Trader Joe's, which always has those. They do. Or a florist. And they said it'll last about 2 or 3 weeks. So I thought that was a nice idea. Here's going back to the trash can. And I haven't done this because I haven't put it on my list. But as I'm reading it again, I'm like, I totally want to do this. Yeah. Is take essential oil and put it on a cotton ball and drop it in the trash can. Do you do that? Yeah. And does it work? Yeah. So I used sweet orange and lemon because I think that's the two I have. Yes, that's all I use. And just a vanilla. And then I just put it at the bottom, underneath the garbage bag, and it does help quite a bit. Yeah, I like it. Well, I love that idea. So, and now we know Becca has actually tried it out and likes it. And then the other idea is if you like the smell of vanilla, just putting 2 to 3 tablespoons in an oven safe dish, preheat the oven, it says, and this is real simple. I do not I haven't done this yet. Preheat it to 300, put it in the oven, 20 minutes with the 2 to 3 tablespoons of vinegar or vanilla. Sorry, not vinegar. You don't want to smell that. Vanilla. And apparently it will, I can imagine, create a beautiful smell throughout the house.
Yeah, like baking goods or something.
Yeah. And then I'm just going to piggyback with my own, and I know you do this too, because we've talked about this. I use laundry balls in my dryer instead of dryer sheets. Game changer, people. But I do drop the essential oils on it. It makes and that's why it makes the whole, and they last many, many washes. Like I only put more oil on because I think, oh, I must need more now, but it's not because it's not still, no, it really does last. And it just makes the laundry smell
so much
lovely, just clean, but not perfumey or anything.
Right. Not like a fake.
No, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving along. Holy crow. Okay. The main topic, are invisible habits running your life? So this is from an article that came out in the Atlantic, the end of January. It was written by Shayla Love. Isn't that a great name?
That's a fantastic name.
I believe I'm saying it correctly too, which is not typical for me. So what are invisible habits? This is a quote from just an online search. They are ingrained behaviors that have become so routine in your daily life that you are no longer consciously aware of performing them. They significantly influence your actions and decisions. So the example that I'm going to share is brushing your teeth. So like you get up and it's just part of your routine. You're not necessarily like, oh, I can't forget to brush my teeth. It's just what you do at a certain point of your routine. Or maybe as soon as you wake up, you reach for your phone and you're looking at it. You didn't make a conscious decision. It's just a habit you've gotten into.
Yeah.
And you go on your phone. Or maybe driving a specific way to the store. I know I got to go out of my house and turn the same way all the time. And I will turn that way, even if where I need to go is the other way. And usually I'm in a car with a kid and they're like, where are you going? I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just so automatic that it's invisible. It's an invisible habit. I just turn that way and I don't realize it until I'm getting to this place where I have to make another decision. I'm like, wait a minute, I went the wrong way. So becoming aware of your invisible habits can boost your chances of successfully forming new effective habits or breaking harmful ones.
Ooh.
So this is where we want to really pay attention. Habits form when people repeat an action that's cued by a trigger in the environment. So for example, when I get to my sink in the morning, I brush my teeth. Standing in front of the sink, my toothbrush is in the toothbrush holder. It just cues me. This is what I do when I'm in front of my sink. So it's an invisible habit. I don't need a cue. I don't need a prompt. It is just what I do when I get in front of the sink. But sometimes I don't even realize when I'm like traveling, and I'll think through, what do I need? If I'm not looking at a list, never a good thing. I'll get to like the hotel and I realize I didn't pack my toothbrush. And I won't realize it until I'm standing in front of the sink.
Ready to go.
And so when I stand in front of the sink, I'm like, oh, I didn't pack my toothbrush. So that's like a pretty common thing that can come across because it's just something that we're doing so automatically. It doesn't stand out if we don't have kind of structure around to bring that habit into a new environment to help it transfer to where we're going to be. So James Clear of Atomic Habits suggests making a habits scorecard. Ooh. He says, write a list of all of your daily habits and rate them each by how they affect your life. So he says, either rate them with a plus if they're positive habits, a minus if they're negative habits, and an equal sign if they're kind of neutral. They're not positive or negative. They just are what they are. And he recommends listing everything. Like I looked at his example and I was like, oh, he means like literally like wake up, get out of bed, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, wash your face, floss, like every step of your routine. Yeah, every step. And probably if I'm a nighttime shower, if you're a morning shower and that's part of your morning routine, you're writing wash hair, shave leg, like you're writing everything. Yep.
Oh my gosh. That is really every single.
So I wrote down in my morning list of habits, 39 habits.
And you don't even think you're doing like,
no, these are just part of my first 2 hours of the morning. It includes everything from like, let the dogs out, feed the dogs, refill the dog bowls, like all of that happens, in the morning. Yeah, but it's very quick.
Yeah.
And, or like, I even like included, like put the tea kettle on and then I go, because I want that to be getting ready to boil while I'm feeding the dogs and
for your oatmeal.
Yeah, so there's this whole step, but I had to think about it because I just do it.
Yeah, totally.
Excuse me. So then, so I'm going to share, there's just like all these things. And then I have the column to rate whether plus or minus, and then a column for any, like clarifying, does this habit help me to be the type of person I wish to be? And the only thing I thought of everything pretty much as positive.
Yeah.
Except check my phone. I do check the phone in the morning, and it doesn't serve me to check the phone in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm like, oh no, that's not serving me either. So that was like the one thing I'm like, okay, I can focus on that, but I give myself permission to stop at the morning, because that's where things kind of fall off. My morning routine, I worked on a lot over the years. The rest of my routine, not as strong. So I'll continue playing with this, but I wanted to share the structure that he shared. If it's sparkly to you, the goal is to simply become aware of how unaware your invisible habits are, and use that awareness to make decisions to better support yourself to be the person that you want to be. So I'm going to just focus on the phone in the morning. That gives me like the one thing. I don't ever want to try to focus on too many things at once, because then I create overwhelm and I won't do it.
Yeah.
If that's sparkly to you and you try it, I'd love to hear what you learned. This is episode 173. Post on our YouTube channel, ADHD-Friendly. We'd love to hear your experience. All right, now for the book of the week. It is Winter Garden.
Ooh.
I read this without stopping to think I should have added this to my summer snowy reading list. I know. I completely just
the minute
so
I saw it, I was like, oh, perfect.
I know. No, I just jumped in and read it. So this is from Kristen Hanna, who I really do enjoy most of her books. I've shared before. She can be a little dark in her, like kills people off, like in kind of like, like at the very end of the book, and you're like,
is she a fiction writer?
Yes, fiction. This is from 2011, and it's about, so she, just to connect, if you're not aware of who she is also the author of Firefly Lane. So if you like that series, yeah, it's very good. So in this book, she illuminates the intricate mother-daughter bond and explores the enduring links between the past and the present. So she does jump back and forth between, it's told through one of the daughter's viewpoints, and she shares what it was like growing up. Her mother is from Russia.
Yeah.
And her experience, her mother was very cold and very offstanding, and she was always trying to connect in a way that would allow her to feel seen.
Right, by her mom.
Yeah, and her mom kind of always, like, the only way she connected was by telling these fairy tales, which were really tales of her own experience. And so it goes back and forth, because now, like in the present, the mom's older and they're struggling with trying to help her to, and the dad has passed away, and that happens early on. It's not really a spoiler, but on his deathbed, he makes the women, the two daughters, promise to hear the full fairy tale. They never get to the end of the fairy tale from the wife, and the wife promises to tell it all the way to the end.
So they can really understand their mom.
Yeah. So I did enjoy it. It was a relatively, she writes larger books, kind of medium to slightly on the larger side. Not a super fast read, but a definitely engaging and enjoyable for the most part read, even though, some of it's a bit hard to read at times, because she's kind of like, you're reading and you're like, all right, this is your daughter. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But you do get to kind of see, and I actually like the pre-story more than I like the present day story. So I enjoyed, because it was during the war of World War II. And it was really an interesting take from people in Russia at that time, which I found very interesting. Yeah. Okay. So now I've got a quote of the week. This is a insight from James Clear. So James Clear says, cheaper, faster, or better. If I wanted to cut the price in half, what would I do? If I wanted to cut the time it takes me to do it in half, what would I do? If I wanted twice the quality of what I'm doing, what would I do? That's it. It's just, I love that as a prompt to ask yourself, like, what is your main goal here? It's like that triangle. You can't have price, quality, and time. You have to sacrifice one, because if it's going to be like the best quality and it's going to take a lot of time, the price is probably going to be high.
Right.
So you're not going to be able to kind of bring that down, because then you will have to either cut out the quality or the amount of time it's taking to make it. Right. So it's that old, like, kind of adage. And what I like is he gives you kind of the language to think, okay, if it's really about me making this more efficient time-wise, what would I do?
Yeah.
Or if it's really about, I don't care what it costs, I don't care how much time it takes, if I could do anything, regardless of those, what would I do? So I just wanted to share that because I came across it in one of his newsletters and I thought that is reminding me of a sparkly way to think through what is the most important thing and navigate. Because remember, with ADHD brain wiring, everything, everywhere, all at once, we cannot do every single thing we want to do, but we can do one thing, and allowing ourselves the gift of prioritizing and focusing on one thing is a form of self-care. So that's it for this episode. Until next time, tally ho.